A slide that literally breaks backs. A slide with more lawsuits than reviews. And a slide that literally killed someone. Yeah, these are the world's most dangerous banned slides. And I had to dig through the depths of the internet to find them. Starting with a slide so dangerous, it got shut down just 4 hours after opening. See, back in 2022, Belle Isle Park in Detroit reopened its legendary 50-foot metal slide. Only this time, they may have gone a bit overboard with the wax, because what was supposed to be a smooth ride down turned into a high-speed death trap. Jesus! This slide was straight up bodying people, and it caused so much chaos, it became a viral news story.
2 words, giant slide.
I heard some groans.
There were some groans, there were some pops and snaps in the body too.
As you were going down the slide, what was going through your mind?
Man, I'm finna die.
But even after knowing all that, the line only kept getting longer, and the injuries kept piling up, with some exceptions.
I'd rather check myself before I wrecked myself.
Well said, kid. Well said. So by the end of the day, after countless people got hurt, Park ended up closing the slide down before things got any worse. Man, that's just ridiculous. But what if I told you there's a slide so infamous, it got its own Wikipedia page and became a viral meme? You see, this was once a regular slide at the Boston City Hall Plaza. That was until August of 2023, when a cop went down and accidentally broke the internet. Holy crap! The man got rocked so hard he lost his ammo and his handcuffs. And when the internet saw this video, they immediately needed answers. You had people questioning physics, asking for a Mythbusters reboot. Hell, some even wanted the slide arrested. I mean, no one could understand how a grown man could shoot out of a slide like a damn cannonball. So what did people do? They started traveling from around the country to try it for themselves.
How does a child go down that?
But it didn't stop there, because the cop slide became so popular that even full-grown men with PhDs couldn't figure out the science behind it.
It requires more exploration, scientific exploration to see what's really going on.
Damn, I can't believe it. And, I can't believe this one either. Because is it just me, or did this guy just lose a limb? What the hell? Bro really got launched off this thing before even reaching the bottom. But at least the chaos only lasted 8 seconds. Now this next slide, on the other hand, gives you plenty of time to rethink your life choices. Because at 30 meters long and towering 14 meters high, the slippery dip looks fun. But for this guy right here, it's just one giant regret.
Dan Duncan suffered a fractured leg, the worst of numerous injuries needing attention from paramedics. Dan's already had surgery but won't be able to go back to work for 4 months.
Skydiving, horse riding, jet skiing, all that sort of thing, but yeah, the slippery dip got me.
Poor guy had his dreams and his spine crushed. So park officials were left with no choice but to temporarily shut it down. And today, it's officially banned. Now on the topic of reckless rides, I bet you didn't know there was one in Spain that set a record for the fastest teardown in slide history. Yeah, this is Tobogán de Estepona, aka one of the dumbest slides ever designed. This thing wasn't even built for fun. It was designed to help people get from one street to another. What the? Did someone really think replacing stairs with a slide was a good idea? But it only gets worse from here. Because this wasn't just any ordinary slide. I'm talking 128 feet of stainless steel, 3 sharp turns, an insanely steep angle, and, oh yeah, it's sitting right above a freaking pile of rocks. I mean, this slide was such a disaster. It left people with broken legs, fractured arms, and outraged an entire community, leading to a full teardown just 24 hours after it opened. But hey, if they're handing out records for stupid slides, then this one deserves a trophy, because it's literally been called the most dangerous slide in the whole Japan. See, on a good day, it's already a rough ride. It starts off smooth, but then the curves get sharper. The slide picks up speed, and all of a sudden, you're getting your skeleton rearranged. But when the rain hits, that's when the real danger begins. Because with nothing to stop you, riders get yeeted out of the bottom faster than that. So eventually, after enough broken bones and viral videos of people getting wrecked, Japan hit it with the ban hammer. Man, this slide had me in the first half. I'm not gonna lie. But I wish I was lying about this next slide, because it's been hit with so many lawsuits, you'd think the designers were trying to kill someone. Back in 2020, Whitehall, Pennsylvania's Mammoth Park unveiled two 100-foot metal slides, twisting all the way down a hill, and the town was hyped. But just a month later, the slide was already catching some heat. I mean, hell, you had people claiming they suffered compression fractures in their vertebrae, deep bruising, and were left with anxiety and depression. So by August 2020, the county had no choice but to step in and make safety improvements. So they spent $30,000 adding a rubber padding at the bottom, handrails, barriers to keep people away from rocks, warning signs, and even a video on how to use the slides safely. Damn, that's a lot of money for 2 kid slides. And after nearly a year of upgrades, the slides finally reopened in June of 2021. And that's when the real controversy kicked off.
Slides have been at the center of several lawsuits since they were installed 4 years ago.
Just after 4 years of operation, the slides got the city sued 8 different times. And somehow, they're still open to this day. That's crazy. But there's some slides that take crazy to a dangerous level. Because there was once a theme park so unhinged, it packed the world's deadliest slides into a single day pass. See, in 1978, a man named Eugene Mulvihill opened Action Park in Vernon, New Jersey. And this place was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. 3 different lands, 75 rides. It had everything. Well, everything except a basic regard for safety. I mean, first of all, the park didn't even have real insurance. And on top of that, the staff were undertrained, underage, and sometimes even drunk. Allegedly. But even worse than that, the rides looked like they were thrown together in someone's garage, because they were.
Many of the rides were experimental, and on paper the design looked good. But in reality, once the ride was turned on, it was not fit for a safe ride by the average person in public.
Take the Alpine Slide, for example. Between 1984 and 1985 alone, it racked up 14 fractures and 26 head injuries. And that's not even counting the time it actually killed someone. And that's just one of many. Because over at the park's infamous grave pool, they had 12 lifeguards on duty at all times, and they still couldn't keep up. I mean, it got so bad at one point that on busy weekends, they were rescuing up to 30 people. Until one day, when a 15-year-old didn't make it. Now, you'd think all these fatalities would cause the park to shut down, but instead, they remained open. And over the next 5 years, 3 more people died. Yeah, this place killed 6 people. That's insane. And yet somehow, Action Park continued to rake in the money, pulling over 1 million visitors a year. But in the 90s, their sketchy operation finally caught up with them. Injury settlements were piling up. The company fell into massive debt, and they were forced to sell the park, which was rebranded as the safer, more family-friendly Mountain Creek Water Park. But fast forward to the 2010s, when the founder brought it back, and the madness returned, with their iconic Cannonball Falls making a comeback. A slide that straight up launched people into a 10-foot deep pool. People were getting hurt from day one. And by 2015, it had become the #1 source of pain in the entire park, with 1 recorded injury every week. So that's when the state stepped in and pulled the plug, banning it for life. But look, that slide ran for decades before anyone shut it down. Now imagine a slide so insane that even Action Park banned it all the way back in 1985. This is the Cannonball Loop, a slide so ridiculous, all it takes is one look at the thing to know it was a terrible idea.
There was a water slide that held 1 person that went in a flip.
It looked like a bunch of kids built it, because that's what it was. A bunch of kids built it.
Yeah, this was the first ever looping water slide in the world. And it was built the only way Action Park knows how, with zero logic, by a man with no engineering background. You see, initial testing started out with crash dummies that came back with missing limbs and heads. So naturally, that meant it was ready for phase 2, paying employees $100 to try it for themselves. And what do you know? The results weren't any better. Because not only did the loop hit riders with up to 9 Gs of force, which, by the way, is the kind of thing fighter pilots train for, but people started coming out with mysterious cuts, which just so happened to be human teeth stuck in the slide's interior. I mean, some people didn't even make it to the other side, getting stuck at the top and forcing the park to install an emergency escape hatch. But even with all these problems, the ride still remained open for 2 years until July of 1985 when it was finally shut down. Man, Action Park had a big problem, but Kansas City had an even bigger problem, and it was called Verruckt. Because this slide was so crazy, it literally killed someone. Yeah, standing at 168 feet tall and launching riders up to 70 miles per hour. This thing was designed to leave every other water slide in the dust. In fact, when it opened in 2014, it was the tallest water slide ever made. I mean, from day one. It was built to make history, and it did, just for all the wrong reasons. You see, the lead designer, John Schooley, had no formal engineering background, and instead of careful calculations, he relied on good old-fashioned trial and error. Like if something went wrong during testing, they just tweak it a little and send another raft down. And the problems? They were adding up pretty fast. No joke. Rafts were flying in the air one after another. So to fix it, they kept raising the second hill to force them back down. But they didn't just make the landings worse, it made the speeds totally unpredictable. Instead of redesigning the whole slide like they should have, they threw up some netting and metal hoops over the track. So yeah, if you went airborne, you had a way bigger problem. But despite all these issues, the park pushed ahead with construction, scrambling to finish before opening day. So when Verruckt finally opened to the public, it didn't take long for people to start getting hurt. I mean, in just 2 years, at least 13 people were seriously injured. And the entire time, the park decided to do absolutely nothing about it. Not even when staff reported the slide's braking system was failing, just days before tragedy struck. Yeah. See, on August 7th, 2016, 10-year-old Caleb Schwab was at the park with his family when he and his brother decided to ride Verruckt for the very first time. This was supposed to be one of the most thrilling experiences of this kid's life, but instead, it was his last.
In Kansas City, Kansas, tragedy on Schlitterbahn's Verruckt.
We are saddened to share that a young boy died.
And investigators can now confirm Caleb Schwab was decapitated by the Verruckt slide at KCK's Schlitterbahn Park.
A criminal investigation followed, and the ride never opened again. The public called it a death trap, families called it negligence, and the park called in the demolition crew. So today, there's nothing left of Verruckt, and no one's dared to build anything like it since.